What's your healthiest meal?
What?
Do you have any health meals? Anything that's fresh?
No, we don't.
The culture in America is that everything revolves around food, and unhealthy food.
The healthcare cost trajectory is out of control because the consumers are not in charge.
This is clearly an unsustainable trend.
We're not telling people how to use food.
Red meat,
beef,
green beans with bacon and butter.
When we talk about this idea of plant-based nutrition, it's a powerful concept, and it's one that my father is associated with.
Dr. Colin Campbell, Doc.
Whole foods, plant-based diet.
Right.
You don't mean the store.
You know, I went on essentially a plant-based diet. No dairy, no meat. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension. Gone.
Physicians don't know how to prescribe a diet. We've been taught how to write prescriptions.
Right now, this information isn't available to them. So how can they make a decision?
We're working our way into the political process here.
The absence of meat as part of your diet is not the best direction for all Kentuckians.
You got to realize that there's a lot of big money interest.
But the amendment itself is flat out true.
We're trying to demonstrate this concept in this community.
We offered 10 days of food.
I've been testing for 26 years, and I've never seen results like this.
Mr. Speaker, I call for a vote.
The folks that are challenging this, they represent big business.
Well, the truth is a stubborn thing, and it doesn't go away.
The documentary PlantPure Nation explores scientific evidence.
In any movement, the first step is always the hardest.
Your total cholesterol is 150.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
When people learn about this, the very next question they ask, why haven't I heard this before? Why? Because revolutions can't start without awareness.
Back when I started in this, there were 3 farmers markets. Now there's about 26.
The amount of money that we spend to create the kind of health situation we have, it's not working.
This is going to be a lifestyle.
Our thesis is that we've got to change this world from the bottom up.
But I'm so happy to have you here, and I know we're gonna discuss a lot about the film. I have a few questions to do. I have some questions that my Twitter followers wants to know about you. So welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your story. I hear an echo.
You hear an echo?
You hear the echo?
No, I don't. I hear you perfectly.
Okay, well. I hear an echo, and I'll try to talk over top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to call you again?
Right now, it went away.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do it.
Okay.
We can start. Okay, let's do now.
Okay, so basically, you know, as I mentioned, you've been such a hero for so many of us, and I include myself because of, you know, the work that you've done. I honestly don't think that without the knowledge that I got through what I read on your books, and beginning with the China study, but everything, you know, after that. And I know because I read so much about you, and I feel like you're my best friend already, so I know everything about you. But I know that people that will listen to this interview might not know about you, and that's one of the things that I, you know, like to convey this message. Okay. How did you start with this? I mean, what was your key point, that the trigger to say, you know what, I want to do this, I want to study this, and I want to show this message to the world?
Well, first off, I started my research career in science 59 years ago. That's a long time ago.
Yes.
At Cornell University. There's some people knocking on the door here. but in any case, that was a long time ago, and I have been in a university all those years, mostly teaching and doing research. When I say doing research, I'm talking about doing experimental research. We actually do experiments, or we do surveys, or we do those kinds of things. It's not just a library matter. We're actually doing real research.
Yes.
And so I was on the opposite side of this idea in the beginning. And it was because of all the scientific evidence that we were getting that really began to convince me that I was on the wrong side. I mean, I was just like everyone else who don't know about it, but we start doing the research. Finally, in about maybe around 1980, I was on a national panel at that time in Washington, and we were being asked to summarize what did we know about diet and cancer. And at that time, our research was suggesting we should eat plants. And that expert panel gave a conclusion in that report that we should eat more fruits and vegetables and lower fat diet and so forth. But then after that, we got involved in a big project in China. There was a human study, of course, and we did that study to see if it was consistent. That was a human study. I wanted to see if the results we got in China were consistent with what we were getting in the laboratory.
Yes.
And it was. Finally, in about 1990, I think, my wife, who also was paying a lot of attention to this, she was changing our diet. About 1990, we became almost 100%. Since that time, I have seen so many people really do well by this diet. And then in 2005, I wrote the book with my youngest son, Tom, who now, by the way, is a doctor. He's a physician. He's on the faculty at the University of Rochester Medical Center. And he is the director of a new program on nutrition and medicine in a major medical school. But in any case, Tom and I wrote the China study. And then after that, Forks Over Knives movie was made when a group in California heard me speak. So they made the movie. The movie's been very successful.
Yes.
And the producer of that movie, John Corey, actually then joined with my oldest son to make this new movie. And my oldest son, his name is Nelson.
Yes, yes.
And he has he and John was the producer. John Corey was the producer of the Forks Over Knives. Now he's the producer of this movie also. Nelson is the director.
Yes.
So together, as you know, they have now finished the movie maybe 95%. And what we're doing now is to do this screening in 25 cities around the United States.
Which is when I'm going to meet you on Thursday, because you're coming to Philly.
That's right.
So,
Philadelphia is our next stop, as you know.
Yes.
And we're very excited about this because I think Nelson and John have done an excellent job of making this movie, but it will be even better, you know, when we finish the tour, because they're taking more. They're doing more camera work during this time. They're getting feedback, you know, from the people, and so I think in June, I think the movie will be really good.
Yeah, it will come out in June, and before we start, when I upload this interview in my YouTube channel, I'm gonna put the trailer before, so everybody can get to see it, and then you know, so they get the introduction, because just the trailer got me, like, even if I was not into this health path, just the trailer will get me to the movie theater to see the movie, because it's, you know, it got me chills, because definitely and it's a question that we ask ourselves so much, that why don't we as consumers, as people, as human beings, don't we get this message? Why is this being concealed from us?
Exactly. That's exactly the right question. And this second film, PlantPure Nation, is an attempt to try to understand that question and, you know, try to figure out what the answer is. And I think that most people are finding the film very exciting.
Yes.
We actually, last night we were in Long Island, and we had a standing ovation, a packed place. Every place has been sold out except for one, where the advanced information wasn't very good. So, but we've had a very good reaction. And I think this is the question that everybody needs to know, because I give a lot of lectures. And I've given maybe, I don't know, 600 lectures at least since the China study was published.
You're a trooper.
A lot. And most of my lectures now are to medical schools. I've spoken at the University of Pennsylvania twice. I've spoken at Temple University. Earlier, I'd spoken also at Drexel University. So I've been around the Philadelphia area.
Well, so we're expecting you here on Thursday, and let me tell you, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, obviously, like I am your devout fan, and I follow your work so much. But I think that it's important that we get the message out there, that people know what's going on, because I know that a lot of people know about you, know about the work, but they might not be aware of the film and what you're working right now, and also the objective of the film, which is, obviously educate us as consumers and what we can do, but also, can we get political here?
Yes.
We want to, get the Congress to be more transparent with the information, and I know you've been pushing for that a lot, and just tell me about the struggle, because I know that you've been, getting a lot of roadblocks.
Yes, for about 20 years, I was very actively involved in national policy development in the area of food and health. I was on several expert panels set up mostly by the government. And so I was very much involved in governmental affairs. And, of course, also involved in science. And I did learn a lot. It's not a very pretty picture because a lot of things that are discussed more or less privately. And unfortunately, and the reason for that, if I could summarize that, the reason for that is because there are some very powerful interests in this country who want to keep this present system, keep on going. It's a very big business. The food business, for example, is very large. The medical practice business is very large. And unfortunately, doctors, virtually all of them are very good people. They want to learn, they want to serve people. But unfortunately, they're not taught this in medical school. So that's a big problem. We also, in science, in my area, we think about it in the wrong way. We think about individual nutrients having effects, and that's not the way it really works. If we take individual nutrients, like nutrient supplements, for example, they don't really work most of the time, certainly not long term.
Yep.
And all of those reasons, and now we have the environmental issue for young people. Big question. The food is the #1 cause of environmental problems.
Definitely.
The kind of food that we consume. And the environmental problems are very serious. For your generation and your successive generations, we need to solve this problem now.
Yes.
We need to know that it's really food that is really playing a major role in this. And so we need to change our eating habits for many different reasons.
And people think that it's so hard but the key point is that they don't have the education, they don't have the information, and information is power. And what I find whenever I speak with any of my clients, friends, and I always try to tell them, like, educate yourself, because when you know better, you do better, and then you start seeing that having this lifestyle will not be an issue. It will be so easy because it will become a lifestyle. It's not a fad diet that you speak about that all the time, and you say, you talk a lot about the 80-10-10 and how we're supposed to eat and all that. Obviously, the GMOs it's a big issue, mostly for us and for the generation to come, as you just mentioned.
Exactly. You know this subject, I think, quite well.
Yes, I do. I did my homework, and definitely the way you put it and the way you you share that information with us is so digestible. Because one of the things is that sometimes it might have a good intention, but if the person conveying the message do not put it in a digestible way, so people that is not really interested in health and wellness will not understand. So the message will be cut short. So it is very important that people do it the way you do it, and so we can understand. And when I say we, I say my generation, because unfortunately we're not that interested in it. We're not, and that's why I love what I do, because I try to show people that it is possible, and then the information is out there. Just read the books, follow what you're doing. Your TED Talks are amazing. I love them. So I can't wait to meet you on Thursday, and I know that you're going to rally to the White House on Saturday, right?
Right.
So tell me about that.
Well, can I mention one thing? You mentioned that the book is very readable.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is.
I want to give credit to my youngest son, who was in the arts at Cornell. He was an actor. He was in theater on stage. Oh. And he came back to work with me because he's a very good writer. Right. And so I want to give a lot of credit to him for the readability. But then he became, he was so excited about this when he was doing this, he decided to go back to medical school. Mm. So now he's a doctor, and he's on the University of Rochester Medical Center on the faculty. Amazing. And our daughter, who works in Latin America a lot, she works in the Dominican Republic.
I have Dominicans, so I will, definitely that's a subject that was alien to all of us, like just a few years ago. So tell me about that. I would love to know more about that.
Are you Dominican?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Well, in any case, she did her PhD or doctorate in education. Okay. At University of North Carolina. Then after that, she went, or before that actually, she went to the Peace Corps. Okay. And she helped to build 3 schools near a place called Tenares.
Tenares, yes.
And she was back in those mountains, and she built 3 schools and made an excellent relationship with the Dominican people. Oh, great. And then she married a Dominican fellow.
Oh my gosh.
She had 2 children, and the marriage unfortunately didn't last, but the 2 children now are 2 boys. They are in University of North Carolina, and they're studying international studies.
You see? 6 degrees of separation, doctor. We have it.
Yes, I know. So anyhow, she then has been conducting a lot of really interesting programs. She brings down American students to the Dominican Republic. She talks about transcending borders. She talks about cultural exchanges, and now she has building a study abroad program for students to go both ways. She has a group of artists in the Dominican Republic, very famous artists. She says they're the best in the world. Yes, and
I believe her.
She brings the artists up to the United States, and they do a lot of murals. They're really outstanding.
Amazing. I will definitely love to know more about what she does, and because definitely there's a lot, lot to be done, as you might be aware in my country, but the good thing is that we're eager to be better as a nation, as individually, as persons that we know. And I know that because when I started talking about this back in DR, like as I said, this message, what you always try to teach us about the plant-based diet, how we can live this lifestyle and not only live but thrive, is it was an alien concept, as I told you. People didn't even know about the organic GMOs and all that, but now it's a subject that people is consuming more and more, and I know that it's an awakening taking place, and it's amazing, because here in the States it's been going on for quite a while. It's taken a momentum, definitely, but in Latin America and in Dominican Republic, definitely something that it's been slower and to catch up, but it's happening. So I'm very happy that your daughter is there and it's doing some type of work, and also obviously conveying your message. So that's amazing.
Can I give you an address of a website if you want to learn more?
Sure, definitely.
It's called Global Roots. Global Roots. GLOBAL ROOTS.org. GlobalRoots.org.
Perfect. I will definitely check it out. And as with everything that we're discussing here, I will put it below in my YouTube channel, all the links, not only for the trailer, which will be featured at the beginning of our interview, but also the links to the PlantPure Nation webpage, so people can, you know, click in it and see their cities and buy tickets to go to the screenings. And also when the movie premieres in June, they can go and see it. And also link it to all the social media, because I think one of the success part for this is the engagement that we do with the community. So that's very important, and definitely it's a beautiful message. I know that in Philly here on Thursday, the screening will be in King of Prussia. And I was discussing this with Nelson because I want everybody to know it's at 7 o'clock, the King of Prussia Mall and the movie theater. So there you will be there, and you will hold a Q&A session also after the screening, right?
Correct.
Okay, so will people have the chance to ask you things? Will you do some book signing as well?
Yes, that's what we have been doing. First the movie, and then we do a Q&A afterwards for about a half an hour, and then we meet privately with people in the lobby area. And there's a lot of pictures, signing books, all that kind of thing. So it's very nice. You
have quite an agenda, because I know that on Saturday, I know you're going to the White House to do a rally, and you know what obviously I know the expectations, but what do you expect to get out of that rally in front of the White House?
For one thing, that's the last city for the East Coast.
Okay.
Then we go to the West Coast. But in any case, in Washington, I think there's already 3 theaters are sold out. They can't get any more tickets for the screening. Prior to the screening, the film, for example, I think it's 11 o'clock, I believe, in the morning or something like that. We're meeting in a very famous park right next to the White House. We were given permission to hold a rally. And Nelson will be saying some things. I will give a few remarks. And Dr. Neil Bernard will be there. That name is known to a lot of people, I think.
Yes.
Also, Dr. Michael Greger.
Yes.
Yeah, Greger, Bernard, myself. We will all be there making some comments.
Quite a dream team.
Yeah.
So, Doctor, you always say that that you don't feel like you are a vegan activist, but somehow, you know, everybody on the, you know, the vegan community keep quoting you and keep, you know, going back to your studies and everything that you write, but you said that you don't feel like you're a vegan activist. Why would you, you know, can you elaborate on that?
It's kind of a technical term. The vegan community, of course, are going down the right, you know, they're going in the right direction. Unfortunately, most vegans, I think, became vegans for ethical reasons, which is fine, that's great. But unfortunately, they weren't doing the science the right way, because the average vegan diet is still about 30% fat. We're talking about 10 or 12% fat. There's a big difference. The average vegan diet still has too much sugar and white flour.
Yes.
So the vegan diet is definitely better because there's no animal foods, but it's not as good as it could be. And that's so I'm the one that actually came up with the idea of calling it whole food plant-based, because I'm in science. And I spent all these years in science. I learned this from the scientific perspective. And I just want to make sure that people know that the scientific evidence for this is extremely good. And, you know, without the science, I don't think we would make very much progress.
Yes.
Because we have to know, we have to have a reason. We have to have a good scientific reason for doing this.
Definitely.
And that's what we learned. People who do this you get a response very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can cure heart disease. You can cure type 2 diabetes. You can reverse obesity problems.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot of things. Cancer, we could experimentally at least, we could turn it on, turn it off, as you know.
Yes.
So
turn on and turn off switch.
And it's the same answer for all these conditions.
Mm-hmm.
The same answer. It's just basically consuming a whole food, plant-based diet.
Exactly.
Really based on, I would argue, very good science. It's been published and extensively.
Definitely. And because obviously in the work that you've been doing since you started this road, you've got a lot of detractors and controversy and people that say that what your standpoint is not valid, but because they are behind an agenda, obviously the industry and whatnot, and it's sometimes it's funny to see how they debate what is out there that you just showed, and it's not something that you invented. It's something that is backed up by your studies, and many of them have been reviewed by other doctors. So and more than that, we're living it. People that have a plant-based diet, we're showing the other people that it's true, that it's real, that we are reversing diabetes, we are reversing heart diseases, and that even people with cancer, let's say if it's not very aggressive, they can even reverse that or heal faster, you know?
Right.
So it's right in front of our faces, but sometimes people will try to push an agenda so forth and forth. It's crazy.
You actually know this very well.
Yes, because I lived it, and I am very passionate about that because, as I told you, my family has a great history of cancer, and it's something that for me, like keep losing people, I said there's something that we're not doing right. Something we're not doing right because these chronic diseases were not, so abundant back in the day. So what's going on? What's happening? What are we doing? So obviously we're getting bombarded with all these GMOs, all these, food that are genetically modified. But what are we doing on top of that? And so obviously that's you just mentioned it's there. We can reverse diseases. It's not rocket science. So we just have to learn and know how we can benefit from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really interested in meeting you in Philadelphia and also hearing your reaction. I'm sure Nelson is too. Nelson and John Corey, who, and we're all interested in your reaction to the film.
I'm looking forward so much to Thursday.
It's not done yet. It'll be better. It comes out on July 4th, but still, it's really very good, I think.
Yeah, I'm so happy, and I thank you so much for having this call. I know you're very busy with all this tour, and it must be so exciting to get into that bus. And I was discussing with my mom, and I said, Mom, like, he is so energetic. You will not believe it. And he's doing this tour, and he is visiting all these cities, and sometimes people my age don't have that energy, and it is obviously there's a reason behind it, and sometimes we don't want to see it, but it's the truth. So I am very happy and I'm very excited, and I will keep sharing all this and your message because I think it has to be heard and people need to learn that, and mostly also with my Latino community, the Hispanic community, that is also more and more opening to that message as well. So thank you so much for having this call, and can't wait to meet you on Thursday.
There's another reason behind it, by the way, I should say, too. It's my wife who will be there as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she'll be there. She has been very much a part of this. And now our grandchildren, who are half Latino.
Great.
So we think we have a bridge.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So that's a great excuse because... obviously, the community is very eager to learn more, and you feel identified, and your grandchildren are, as you said, half Latino, so that's very beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice. Very proud of that. Well, my wife was here, but she was there. But anyhow, I'm looking forward to meeting you when we come down.
Yeah. on Thursday for sure. God willing, we will be there and we will meet and we'll take a lot of pictures and we could, you know, keep sharing all that. I will post this on my YouTube channel and all my social media and we take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. I send you a big hug and we stay in touch and we see on Thursday, okay?
Great. Thanks very much for this.
Have a nice day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.